Today I've got quite the adventure for you guys. I'm in the northern woods of Maine at a band of locomotives.
It's this too, but I don't think that's what you're looking for either.
Nah. Kind of. I just bought some maps, and if you're wondering why did you wait until the day that you're going to check out the locomotives to buy some maps? And I know where I'm going, but I just wanted a more detailed map of where I'm going, and that's why I bought some maps. It's always good to have paper maps instead of just on your phone. Fun fact. Right now, this is where we are. We're in Millinocket. Somewhere in here, allegedly, the abandoned locomotives reside. And if you're wondering, Dylan, why are you dressed like such a silly goose wearing a long sleeve shirt and boots and long pants in the middle of the summer whenever it's about 97 degrees? And that's because there's a bunch of skeeters, and I don't like skeeters, and I don't want to get all bit by the skeeters. So that's why.
I got 7 Mac 11s, about 8 38s, 9 9s, 10 Mac 10s, the shits never end. You can't touch my riches, even if you had MC Hammer and them 357 bitches. Biggie Smalls, a millionaire, the mansion, the yacht.
It's about a 2-hour drive from Millinocket to get there, and 90% of that driving is done on these logging roads. So we got a ways to go on these dirt roads. We just pulled up to a checkpoint in Magaster. In order to continue on this road, you got to pay a few bucks to help maintain the wilderness. You have to like check in and then check out whenever you leave, so they know that nobody's gotten lost up here.
Oh, through there?
Sounds good.
I make number ones, I give MCs the ones tripping. When I put my clip in the AK, I slay from far away. Everybody in the DPCK, my slow,
Dust. Not doing that. Take a little survey the map for a second. We found the road to take us there, and it's working. This road's pretty rough. I mean, I'm averaging probably like 10 miles an hour because there's some pretty gnarly potholes on this road. And oh, here's some more. A little bit of water. I've come literally to the end of the road. The hike has begun. Hopefully it won't take more than half an hour, maybe an hour to get to these trains here. They're not trains, they're locomotives. Some people get sensitive about that stuff. Got some big old moose tracks here. Got some here, there's a few back there. Going this way. The ground starts to tighten up, so like they start to disappear, but that's pretty big. I've got large hands, so pretty cool though. Those are train tracks. Those are train tracks right there. Look at that. As you can see, we've made it to the tracks. If you're wondering why I've got this funny thing on my head, is because the bugs were really annoying me, and this drastically cut down the annoyance. Look at this. This is where you would switch the tracks, I assume. Look at these tracks. Great, yeah, look right here. You got two sets of tracks here going down there. So this sign here is where you manually switch the tracks for the locomotives to run on. This is really cool. We're walking pretty much right along these tracks here, and it looks like, I mean, the woods have opened up quite a bit, and we're not in the forest anymore, but it looks like there's a clearing open up ahead, and I feel like that's probably where the locomotives are. There's the clearing. There they are. There's the trains. The locomotives. Whoa, check that out. That's how they transfer the logs. Got those spikes on them to hold onto the log, and they'd roll them all the way down. Wow. These aren't the locomotives. That looks like some sort of huge combustion chamber. These are piston heads right here. Looks like there used to be something on top of there that would run this whole thing. Maybe that was like a motor. Yeah, look, this would spin and that would crank up the wire, which would then pull the logs this direction. This is all the way back from the early 1900s that this stuff was made. An old steam engine which pulled the logs all the way from Eagle Lake, which is north of us about 3,000 feet, all the way down to here, which is Chamberlain Lake, which is right behind me here to the south of us. Whoa, here's the locomotives. Whoa, check those out. It's crazy. It's left here from the early 19th century, early 1900s. I guess that's the 20th century, isn't it? This area of northern Maine was supplying 20% of the US paper and wood. The way they used to transport the wood back in the late 1800s, early 1900s is they would use the lakes and rivers as like a highway, and they'd float the logs down through them. They had a problem because these rivers right here run north, but they need the wood to go south. So what they did was they created this railroad to bring the lumber south into the nearby towns. And then whenever the Great Depression rolled around, it basically put the whole lumber business out of business. It was more cost effective to just leave these locomotives and all this tracks and stuff here than to come and get them out. Now they're a piece of history in the woods here. Wow, pretty insane. Whoa, look at this thing. Wow, that's like the furnace. Throw your wood in there, your coal in there or whatever to burn to get this thing moving. It was quite the adventure to get here today. Between the multiple hour drive on the logging roads to then a little over an hour of a hike to get in here. And these locomotives are just incredible, preserved so well. They're such a perfect representation of the time of the logging industry. I don't know what to say. It's just really amazing here. If you guys are ever in northern Maine and you guys have the energy to make it out here, I highly recommend it. It's very cool, very peaceful. The hike here is just as amazing as seeing the locomotives and the tracks and everything. The hike here is incredible through the woods. Really highly recommend coming to check this stuff out. I'm gonna end this one here because I got an hour hike back to the van, and then I've got a couple hour drive, and then I'm gonna camp somewhere. So until next time, you guys stay rad. Oh wow. Oh wow. We got a storm coming. Oh, we're gonna get caught in the rain. We're gonna get caught in the rain. Gonna get wet. Gonna get wet.